I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. Sunday morning right here on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. This is Game Time Decisions with a ton to get to. 2 great games in the NBA expected. We had 2 fun ones last night. NHL playoffs continuing to roll on and a full slate of Major League Baseball. Yesterday, the Paul Skenes debut over the strikeout prop, over the walks prop, the game over. Pittsburgh wins 10-9. A wild game. Baseball yesterday. Was fun. Money lines went well. Had some fun off air with some strikeout props with the crew. But incredibly, the MLB play of the day, maybe not incredibly, expectedly, loses again. Again, you got to go hand up. When it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's good. It's bad. It's real bad. I believe 7 consecutive losses. Can we make it 8 in a row? Let's hope not. Let's start hot here. Fernando Tatis, over a half run scored at plus 100. Fading Walker Buehler is something that I'm willing to do. I know I did it in his first start back and ultimately took a loss. That's because I played a Marlins plus 2.5 instead of just a team total, which would have worked out well. But I do think that San Diego here can hit Buehler a bit, and I think Tatis can be the benefactor. Then a little bit since we've seen an extra base hit for Tatis, a double today. Put him in scoring position, can work out. Heck, maybe he hits a long ball and makes it happen as I try to avoid 8 straight losses. Again, I think it's my job to continue to give these to the people because, quite frankly, if you're fading these, red hot, absolutely red hot. By the way, there's also something in the NBA that has lost 8 straight times. We will get to that and Celtics Cavs in just a little bit. But let's start with today's action because, again, we have a lot on the line here. Swing spots in these series with the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. If we see the teams down 2-1 win today, all of a sudden the conversation changes, momentum changes. Denver will go back to favorites to win the series. Indiana will continue to shrink that number. And it's been a very interesting 48 hours for me in these 2 series. I felt that both teams down 2-0 had real juice to make the comeback, make the climb, heck, maybe even win it in 6. Both teams were able to win in Game 3. And I left with a little less confidence that that's how these series are going to play out. Let's start in Indiana. The Pacers just can't separate from the Knicks. Nobody can. It's incredible. It'll be very interesting if we do get Knicks Celtics, knowing that those are going to be double-digit spreads in Boston and still big spreads at the Garden, and the Knicks' ability to keep every single game close. And that's the worry for me for the Pacers. While I understand they were able to win this third game, an Andrew Nembhard heave, a prayer, the longest made three of his career, is what prevented the Pacers from potentially sitting here in a 3-0 hole. At the end of the day, when we try and evaluate what the Pacers have going for them, you look back to game 1, and they nearly won that basketball game. They only lose it by 4, despite Tyrese Halliburton scoring 6 points. And I was thinking to myself, man, for the Pacers, that's a tough one to lose. But your best guy gave you 6, and you were right there. What if he steps up? Well, Tyrese gave you 34 in game 2. They lost by 9. Gave you 35 in game 3. They won by 5. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's incredible. At some point, especially the Pacers with their offense, you would think they would run and hide from this Knicks team. They just don't do it. They just don't. It's very interesting. But if this game is going to be close, at least close enough, then we can bet some props with confidence. I know you would think that I would sit here right now and say, hey, give me the Knicks plus the points. If I were betting, I would be taking the Knicks plus the points. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave those be. Because I like Jalen Brunson today. I like him quite a bit over the 38.5 points plus assists. This is really my favorite number on the entire board today, any sport, certainly basketball-wise. Jalen Brunson's points prop was 38.5 in game 2. A number that lost in some part maybe due to the fact that he was due for an under, but mainly because he missed a quarter basketball. Jalen Brunson has attempted 25 or more field goals in all but one game this postseason. That was game 2, where he only played 32 minutes because of the injury. 25-plus field goal attempts is something that Jalen Brunson recorded 21 times in the regular season. 21. Do you know what Jalen Brunson gave you on a 38.5 points plus assists prop in those 21 games? A 20-1 record. One loss in 21 games. Now, in the playoffs, it's 4-3. But if you investigate that, he lost the first 2 games on the number against the Sixers, ripped off 4 in a row to close that series, absolutely window walked it in game 1 against Indiana, then didn't get enough minutes against the Indiana Pacers in game 2, and we had our first loss in a long time, clear, deserved loss on Brunson's plate in game 3 against the Pacers. Not efficient enough, 10 of 26 from the field, 38%. First time since the first 2 games against Philly, he went under 40% from the field. Brunson bounced back over 38.5 points plus assists. Also a sneaky little bounce back for Obi Toppin. 12.5 points plus rebounds. I initially noticed that Obi had gone over this prop in all 3 games at home against Milwaukee. So losing here at home against the Knicks, perhaps we had a little bit of a home trend building. Then the more I realized what was snapped was not a home trend. No. Obi Toppin has just 2 games this playoffs where he does not have over 12.5 points plus rebounds. Game 1 against Milwaukee, game 3 against the Knicks. A 7-game over streak was snapped. And now we get to run it back here at a nice number at home. I like Obi Toppin here over the 12.5 points plus rebounds, bounce back style as well. In fact, and again, this will come as no surprise if you know me, there's a lot of bounce backs here on the board today. And that includes the Minnesota Timberwolves minus 2.5. Listen, the Denver Nuggets, it's been very fun to watch this play out. But the story on Denver all year seemingly is nobody can beat them. Western Conference price remains strong. Heck, Boston fans, I've mentioned this many times, right? The title favorite Boston Celtics typically hear the name Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, the Denver Nuggets, and they go, we can't beat that team. And then Denver drops 2 games, and that all goes out the window. The conversation is the Nuggets are done. The Nuggets are cooked. Luckily for the Nuggets, they were given off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. and they were able to recover. And they bounced back in a huge way against the Timberwolves, winning 117-90. And I think that was, I don't want to say the worst thing possible. That's silly. Let me rephrase. The way Denver won has given me a lot of confidence here in Minnesota. Because now all of a sudden, we're getting 2.5 for a spread. The Denver Nuggets are underneath 2-1 to win the series. The Nuggets are in this position now where the books clearly believe they can win this game. And if they do, they'll go back to Western Conference favorites, probably. But we're discarding all the concerns that we had built up from games 1 and 2. Those things haven't gone away, at least not for me. Because what Denver did by blowing out Minnesota was punch them right in the face. And that's what they needed to do, right? But a close win, and I might have been a little bit more inclined to like Denver in this spot. You're now pushing Minnesota and asking them to answer the bell. And what I've seen from this Timberwolves team, what I've seen from Anthony Edwards, what I've seen from Karl Anthony Towns, truly, I think they answer that bell. After a home loss this season, first 10 games, they've only lost 11 at home, 12 now with the playoff loss. Through the first 10, 8-2 straight up in the next game. You know the 11th home loss they had this year? Regular season finale against Phoenix. The next game they played at home was against Phoenix. You know how that went? Minnesota minus the 2.5. We'll be right back where it's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
The entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live on Game Time Decisions, I'm Kevin Walsh with you on this Sunday morning. We're going to talk some Wells Fargo with Brady Cannon in 15 minutes in what should be a fantastic close because you have 2 great golfers in Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy looking like this is going to be a head-to-head run. I'm excited to watch that play out. Before we get to what happened yesterday, just to finish up my 4 picks in the NBA today, Rudy Gobert over the 23.5 points plus rebounds. I know he's missed this in each of the first 2 games that he's played in so far against the Denver Nuggets. But he had 2 games against Denver in 2024, very back end of the regular season, where he hit both of these numbers, and he hit it quite easily. So I think that Rudy Gobert is in a really good position here up against the Denver Nuggets to get over what is a pretty low number. Again, a number that he went over in 3 out of 4 against Phoenix. You look to last year's playoff series against Denver, he went over in that one in 4 out of 5. So I really like Rudy Gobert here. It kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that I do like Minnesota minus the 2.5 to really step up and handle their business at home against the Denver Nuggets. And if Minnesota does that, as current Western Conference favorites, they will go back to a minus money Western Conference favorite. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be booked as a favorite over the Dallas Mavericks, no doubt about it, due to having home court, and maybe over the Oklahoma City Thunder, despite not having home court. How much beating the Denver Nuggets is going to do for their profile. I am expecting, if Minnesota gets through, that they will be playing the Dallas Mavericks, who took a 2-1 series lead yesterday by able to protect home court and win that game in close fashion, 105-101 if memory serves, but in covering fashion. It's a low number. There's not a lot of Dallas belief in the market. The Mavs, it's so interesting, but the Mavs opened up as series favorites against Oklahoma City, and immediately were bet over to dogs as the Thunder came back in as faves. And for OKC being booked as a favorite with home court advantage being the top seed is all good. But that number for some was not enough. People felt maybe, hey, minus 155, minus 165, minus 180. That's what people wanted to see for Oklahoma City, and felt anything less was disrespect. But now we sit here 2-1, and I can still tell there's not a ton of Dallas belief in the market. And I've seen some people say that there is room for an Oklahoma City buy low. That clearly what we've seen in this series suggests that the Thunder will be able to pull this back and all of a sudden win this series. And I'm just not seeing it the same. Maybe I am blinded by a Dallas Mavericks future to win the West, but I don't think that I am. Look at the head-to-head yesterday, SGA, Luka Doncic, because this is how it's looked all series long. 31-10-6 for SGA. He once again outplays Luka, 22-15-5. SGA has been better than Luka Doncic, arguably in all 3 games so far this series. Kyrie Irving has now gone back-to-back games with under 20 points, and I believe he only scored 20 in the Game 1 loss. Kyrie's hardly been excellent. Hardly so far in this series for the Dallas Mavericks. The idea that the Mavs are going to fall off is that P.J. Washington and what he's doing is unsustainable. Absolutely so. I'm not telling you P.J. is going to give you 25 a night for a series. That's playing way above his head. Now, Oklahoma City is somewhat funneling attempts to PJ, and he's making good work of those. But my thing is, if we're going to see PJ come back to the fold, are people comfortable assuming that Luka and Kyrie can't shoot forward, can't step up? A duo that is averaging, I believe, under 40 points per game combined so far, who is typically expected to average nearly 60 points combined. We don't see room for improvement there. Again, unless you are completely convinced that Luka Doncic is compromised and done and is not going to play any better, I do not see the confidence that some are sharing on Oklahoma City. We saw it yesterday in the move on that spread, and it ultimately was a move way too far as Dallas covers and now takes a 2-1 series lead. A 2-1 series lead for the NBA title favorites. That's the Boston Celtics. They get the job done against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Jason Tatum finally flashes in a major way. His first 30-point game so far in these playoffs. And I want to let people know, I am not taking a shot at Tatum. I promise. He was great yesterday. But we now have one of the most surprising trends I can remember in NBA playoff history People love their player props. People love their star player props. And people love their star three-point player props. Jason Tatum, who averaged over 3 made threes per game in the regular season, is 8-0 to the under on his made three-point prop so far these playoffs. He finally put 30 on the board and only made 2 threes. Back-to-back games, he's made 2 first-half threes and finished at 2. He's made 2 in nearly every single game. He can't make 3. The books can't drop the number. It's not going to be 1.5. That's ridiculous. The 2.5s are juiced to the over. You are banging plus money out if you are playing these Tatum unders. And every part of my brain says bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. But again, if you know OK Dubs, I'm banned from betting Tatum. I can do it once, maybe twice a series. Maybe. But the amount of people out there that I imagine have run to the window on, well, this has got to be the game Tatum makes 3. And they've been sat there, not seeing him cross the finish line. Again, this is not slander. It's just stunning. He was awesome yesterday. He was. And he put Boston back up in front on a 2-1 series lead. Donovan Mitchell was great as well. And that, for me, a key takeaway. Donovan Mitchell and his scoring has no impact on whether the Cavs can get through a team total. He's going to get his. But can the rest of the Cavs get there? So far through this series, the answer twice, absolutely not. Once, the answer was yes, and that's how we got a 2-1 series lead. We go to the ice and the diamond next. It's Game Time Decisions.
The entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live and down SportsGrid, making it happen here on this Sunday morning. A lot of good stuff to get to. I will quickly just say again with the Boston Celtics, so far this postseason, the 2 losses coming at home, they've been pretty dominant outside of that. For the Cavs, can they grab Game 4? I think they can. We'll see. We'll break it down live with you on Monday, no doubt about it. But it's going to be really interesting to see if we get the Cavs to even up this series. Can someone force a 6th game? If you get a 6th game, you're home. And if you win that, you can force that 7th game. And I just think putting pressure on Boston's the key. Because I do think there's a lot of pressure on this team. I think they know they're the best team in the NBA. They are. I don't think anybody even denies that, right? And the Celtics have been here before. They have been, despite what some people will tell you, favored to win a conference, favored to win a title, favored to win an NBA Finals. They have been. And they've not been able to cross the finish line, right? They've only been to the finals once. Huge favorites to get to the finals again. It's just, how will Boston handle that pressure? And again, Tatum has the record for most points in a Game 7? I'm not saying they can't get through it. But being able to get through it in this spot, if again, they're playing Cleveland in a Game 7, right, or the Knicks or the Pacers, I just think that would be really fascinating. And I hope we see them pushed, obviously, as somebody who thought about taking some Boston futures on Leap Day and ultimately did not. Before I get to the hockey, before I get to the baseball, also, happy Mother's Day out there to all the mothers who are watching. And for anyone out there with a mother, make sure you text. Calling would be preferred, but at minimum, make sure you wish them a happy Mother's Day. And, of course, Mom, if you are watching, I love you. Happy Mother's Day, and I'll call you on the way home. All right, let's talk some puck here. A little bit of biscuit yesterday. Canes-Rangers 4-3. Canes avoid the sweep. Big-time favorites expected to do so. This series continues to have juice. That 5.5 number gets well over. But how about late night? Dallas gets the job done on the road against the Colorado Avalanche. I talked about being interested in playing the Avs to win a title, plus 550. That number's now plus 950 after the loss here to the Stars. The Avs offense, for the first time really all playoffs, held down, and maybe it's a little bit of cope. Now, I didn't play any Colorado yesterday, title or game, but maybe the Avs needed to have a down game offensively, and they can really bounce back. I'm interested still somewhat in Colorado moving forward. We'll talk more ice with Joe Madden here. Bruins-Panthers, Florida favored to take a 3-1 series lead. I'm thinking under the 5.5 there, as the Bruins are going to need to start to drag Florida into those waters that we saw with Boston and Toronto, low scoring hockey. I know Florida's got more juice, but I think maybe an under 5.5, it just was a little expensive at last look. And then Edmonton and Vancouver. The Oilers so far, this is going to be just their 4th home game so far this postseason. Only one cover on that puck line. So it'll be interesting to see if Edmonton can separate here at home against the Canucks. Baseball board full of action. By the way, again, yesterday, Paul Skenes, I'll say this. It absolutely was worthy of our attention. It felt important. It felt like the most important thing I've watched all baseball season. The first 2 guys striking him out looked awesome. Seiya Suzuki. More like Sia Suzuki. My, oh my, that was a tough AB. Then Cody Bellinger draws a walk, and I knew we were in for a bad one. That was unfortunate. He did go over the walks. He did go over the strikeouts. The game flies over. The Pirates end up winning. But it was fun. And I do think that these Paul Skenes starts are going to have more attention than, again, just your every other day, right? And for baseball that doesn't have a lot of standout events, right? Over a 162-game season, it's difficult. It kind of tries to hit you with volume. Skenes Day, it's going to feel real for at least a little bit. Certainly, as long as he pays people on that strikeout prop. We'll talk to Dave Sharapan in a little bit, get his thoughts on Skenes Day and everything else Major League Baseball. Speaking of the Pirates, though, I'm playing them on the money line here, plus 100. Look, yes, the Cubs are better. Kyle Hendricks is not, though. His best days long behind him. Getting plus 100 against the Cubs team that right now is slightly under 500 as well on the road. I like the Pirates on the money line here. I like the Jays on the money line, plus 120. Yes, I know Alek Manoah is bad, but I want to see if he could perhaps get a little bit of inspiration pushed his way here at home for the first time in some time. And Bailey Ober has some road struggles as well. Blue Jays offense also really woke up yesterday, so I want to see if that can continue. Give me the Reds, plus 110. This team was a road favorite yesterday. We were able to fade. We're going to try and bounce back, grab the Reds, plus 110. My favorite today, the Royals, minus 125 on the road here against the Angels. Seth Lugo's been awesome. Pablo Sandoval, someone that we're willing to fade. And then the last money line there, let's go Padres, Yu Darvish against Walker Buehler. Wells Fargo, it's next.
missed call the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Live to the right here, it's Game Time Decisions with you on a Saturday. Look at the big, beautiful board, just letting people know what we're doing here on SportsGrid. And we can't do it without Brady Cannon's help. Brady, I got to tell you, we have ourselves a great little setup at the Wells Fargo. And sometimes you stumble in to a crystal ball. And Rory McIlroy, for you and I, he's been a fascinating discussion. And I was like, do you want to bet him at plus 360? Or what if you just, I don't know, let Saturday play out, you get him plus 110 and he's down a stroke. That was exactly the number. Now,
You're right.
that doesn't make me any money, right? I didn't bet on anything, but it's just kind of knowing how the Rory numbers look. And again, him being able to cut into the Xander deficit, it was not too surprising. But what we really have, and I think this is the most important starting point because we can get to Rory's versus Xander in a minute. Are you entertaining any golfer other than the top two to win this tournament? Im 8 under, Straka 7 under, Jason Day 5 under. And again, you're talking 7 back of Xander when you're talking Jason Day.
No, I really think it's a two-person race here, Kevin, and you couldn't really ask for much better than these two at the top. I mean, without Scotty Scheffler in the field, I think probably these are the next best two golfers or the best two golfers in the field this week without Scotty in the mix. And here we've got him at the top of the leaderboard. Yeah, you and I were in here on Saturday saying, you know, and we talked about it like the price is you're never getting a bargain on Rory, but I kind of felt better about him than I did about Xander. Now that played out yesterday. Today's a new day. Rory went pretty low. You know how that goes. I mean, this course, I couldn't quite figure it out. I think it's playing much firmer and faster than it did early in the week because there was not any wind to speak of on Saturday. And yet some guys really put up some big numbers. Sahith Theegala shot 82, and I'm not sure he was the only person that shot in the 80s on Saturday. It played tough. It'll probably play even more difficult today, even firmer and faster. So it is going to be very difficult on Xander and Rory, and that makes it even more difficult on these guys that are chasing by 4, 5, 6, 7 shots as well. So I do believe it is a two-person race. And it's a tough one to figure out who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, and if you look, I think, again, to your point, it's probably the two best guys in the field are the two guys that are up on everyone else, right? If we move some of these names around, right, if Rory was in Straka's spot, it also would be an awful number we'd be getting, right? But it would we would entertain it. It's just very difficult with both of these guys would need bad days, and neither one has really had a bad day. Xander, I guess, the closest yesterday, shooting the 70, but it was still under par, and that's been the case for both of these guys so far out here at the Wells Fargo. So if we're deciding between the two, and I know there's other opportunities we can make, but you and I have always said the outright board, or you've told me, I really should say, the outright board is what draws the eyes. Is it Xander? Is it Rory? Is it worth betting either one?
Yeah, I think both prices are very fair. Actually, I think we're getting a pretty fair shake on Rory, which is not usually the case. It's also interesting that you do just have these two golfers separated from the rest of the field. I would say if you have a pre-tournament outright ticket on either one of these guys, you can possibly hedge your bet. If that winning, if hedging is still worthwhile, if this is, money that is legitimate, if it's not a big deal, you let it ride and you see if it hits. But if you've got some serious cash on the line, I recommend a hedge. And the way you do that is you find a head-to-head matchup with Rory versus Xander. And if you've got the outright on Xander, then you bet Rory head-to-head and vice versa. You might also be able to find a yes-no market out there. Like, is Xander going to win the Wells Fargo? If you have a ticket that says yes, you can always hedge a little bit with the no and possibly do that on Rory McIlroy as well. It's very interesting. I saw the head-to-head matchup price is Rory McIlroy minus 140. Yet he's plus 105 to win the golf tournament. So Rory could essentially beat Xander in a head-to-head matchup. And let's say he beats him by a shot. Then that means they go to a playoff. And then Rory could lose the golf tournament. So it's pretty crazy there. But, you and I, we kind of alluded to this on the show yesterday. I lean a little bit with McIlroy. And I hate to say that, Xander kind of gets a bad rap. He doesn't fail to close the door every time. But this is a pressure cooker situation. Now, let's also remember Xander finished runner-up here last year. He's no stranger to this golf course, this golf tournament. But Rory, he's a machine here. Multiple top 10 finishes, 3 wins at the Wells Fargo. You couldn't have a much more scarier opponent breathing down your neck on Sunday. I lean a little bit with McIlroy, the proven commodity.
And just kind of looking at the numbers, that I'm able to get my hands on, Rory, for just the third round, was the best golfer in the tournament, tee to green. Xander was really kept above water by the putter. Was eighth yesterday in the field putting, where, around the green 49th, approach 34th, tee to green 20th, right? So he really dropped back from where he had been all tournament long, and still over the course of the tournament is just behind Rory, tee to green. I feel, though, and again, you kind of have to wait for the moment, right? But the dream scenario would almost be Xander birdies 1, Rory pars. Okay, now I have Rory at plus 200.
Yeah.
Right? I think that would be a bit more appetizing.
Kevin, if that's your second straight day of something like that coming to fruition, I'm going to want to see your crystal ball, pal.
Yeah, it's very funny though, Brady, because the crystal ball it might work in golf, hockey, NBA, which is my sport. It's not working right now. It's leading us to a lot of hooks and a lot of nasty results.
Take it into the shop and get it fixed. See if they can do a repair. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll fall off though, right before.
The in-game, the in-game option could be the best, Kevin. And either way, let's say Rory birdies 1 and Xander bogeys or something. Then maybe you take a little piece of Xander. I think there's a lot of people out there that would argue that Xander is the better player in the world right now. Even though the official world golf rankings won't tell you, I think there's some people that feel Xander Schauffele is a better long iron player than Scottie Scheffler. You're splitting hairs between probably Xander, Rory. Scotty's the best in the world. We know that. But there are certain little facets of each guy's game, Rory, Xander, Scotty, probably throw John Rahm in there too. It wouldn't be such a bad thing to have plus 350 on Xander down a shot either.
Well, so that's the great thing, and maybe what I realized as you were kind of breaking it down, Xander a shot back is probably better than Rory a shot back, because Rory goes a shot up, and the way the books like to price him, he'll be minus 150 to win this tournament. So
it's going to be fascinating. Going to be fun.
If you can just sit next to the odds board all day,
I will.
Yes.
I have
then
to
you'll be
track
good
it.
to go.
I have to track it all because I do a recap article for the PGA Tour. So yeah, I have to kind of sit here and see the movement and what happens, and then put it into a recount at the end of the day. So it's a fun job to have.
Brady. No, it sounds like a good watch. And we'll talk whether Monday or Tuesday. We'll figure it out. But anything from the Wells Fargo so far that you're going to carry into the PGA Championship this coming week?
I already have a ticket on my man Sepp Straka, and I think our boy Sam behind the glass does too. Sepp Straka at 7 under and shot a 67 yesterday, shot a 68 on Thursday. That's impressive. This, we've talked about it. This is a big boy, very difficult golf course, and he's playing very well. He's got a top 10 finish in the PGA Championship last year. He has a runner-up finish at the British Open last summer, and he also just comes off of a finish where he was 16th in the Masters. He also won a Ryder Cup this past fall with his fellow Europeans. This guy's becoming a big-time player, and I think he might be ready to kick in the door at Valhalla.
Yeah, that's going to be something for us to follow, no doubt. Brady, incredible stuff. As always, best of luck with the Wells Fargo.
Thanks,
Break
Kevin.
down the ice next.
Every missed call, the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Keep it rolling. It's right here. It's Game Time Decisions. We're live on SportsGrid. We go to the ice. Joe Madden's here. Can't do without her. Joe, listen, we got to start with yesterday. Hurricanes finally got one. I don't know. I'm annoyed about that for some reason.
Me too.
We almost had overtime. I had a very, very stupid shots on goal parlay that I feel like would have had some real juice had we seen overtime. We did not. Hurricanes, they feel like an enemy. They're feeling like an enemy right now. What'd you make of the 4-3 win to avoid the sweep?
I wasn't impressed. Not at all. I really did think we'd get more out of the Rangers, especially in that third period. They started off slow, which is okay because we know the Rangers normally come back in that second and third and really shut things down. But I wanted more out of them. I wanted more out of Igor Shesterkin, but we knew that was coming for Igor Shesterkin. A goalie can only stay hot for so long. I do think he bounces back. I do think that was a gentleman's sweep. We'll see them clinch in the Garden. So what's better than seeing the Rangers clinch in the Garden? That's a positive out of the day, Kevin, for sure.
That is a positive. Always the positive side. Fantastic. Joe, let's talk some hockey here. Bruins-Panthers. Boston came out. They kind of shocked, not shocked the world, but they shocked some folks, right, with that Game 1 win. And they've now been punched in the face 2 games in a row. They need a win here at home for, I think, a lot of people to have any faith that they can upset the Panthers for the series. What do you see with Boston, home dog here against Florida?
Wow, this is really going to come down to Brad Marchand, if he's on the ice, the captain for the Boston Bruins tonight or not. He's so clinched for them in the playoffs. So I'm waiting until I take a side here in this one. I do think Florida, though, ultimately at the end of the day is the right side. What we saw in Game 1 was rust. In the last 2 games, this team has been absolutely dominant out there on the ice. And I do think while Boston will try to battle this one out with or without Brad, I think the Florida Panthers are way too much for them out here. We're seeing this defense be the storyline for me. You look at the last game, they limited the Boston Bruins to only 3 shots on goal in the first period. It's absolutely phenomenal what this defense is doing, and it is winning them these games, not only allowing Boston to get back in the game in that third period with those 2 goals, but the rest of that game, it was completely dominated by the Florida Panthers. Now, I found a couple of really interesting bets here, Kevin. Before I get to my main bets, I did find being able to bet penalties here. Under 6.5 penalties, 2-minute penalties is a bet that you can find on a lot of books. I searched over a whole bunch of them. You can find this. It's coming in at plus 145 for under 6.5 2-minute penalties. Now, when you look at the last game, we think about all the penalties that we had out there on the ice. We had 6 2-minute penalties. We did have a 4-minute minor in there as well, but this is only counting those 2 minutes. I think if we get those big penalties, they're going to be the 4 minutes or the 5-minute majors out there with the bad blood between these two. So those 2-minute penalties, I do think, stay under the 6.5. Now, when I'm looking for my favorite bets to go into this game, I really do think you take the under 1.5 in the first period. I'm expecting the defense of the Florida Panthers really to play the game that we saw in the last one, holding Boston off the score sheet to start this game. Bobrovsky's being phenomenal. And the Florida Panthers, they might pick up a goal, but I don't see them really coming out super aggressive offensively where they want to go up 2-3 goals like we saw with the Carolina Hurricanes in the last game. So I'm expecting Swayman to have more strength. We know in the last series that he was absolutely phenomenal. He's allowed those goals to come in those last 2 games. We need a bounce back here from Swayman, but I do think the under 1.5 in the first period. Now, I've got a couple of playmakers I'm really looking at. Matthew Tkachuk here for 2+ points. He's coming in at plus 230. Matthew Tkachuk is really phenomenal for the Florida Panthers, and he had 3 points in that last game. And versus the Tampa Bay Lightning in the last series, he was able to get multi-point games all over the board. So he's coming in at plus 230. And then I got to circle Montour, Brandon Montour, the offensive defenseman for the Florida Panthers for the anytime goal. There's just so much value at plus 600. He has got a goal in 2 of the games in this series, only held off the board in the one. So I do think the goal is coming again for Brandon Montour.
I was thinking the under 5.5 there, Joe, so it lines up with some of the action. Certainly used a slow start to this game. And then we've got Edmonton here late night. They were able to grab the second game on the back of their stars. McDavid, Draisaitl involved in all 4 goals for Edmonton. What do you see here back home against the Canucks?
Well, I really do think the depth of the Edmonton Oilers needs to come to play because you can't put all the weight on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. We saw in Game 1, the Vancouver Canucks were really able to limit Connor McDavid, and we saw the outcome of that. Vancouver able to pick up that first win there. When they don't limit Connor McDavid, it's what we saw in game 2 where the Edmonton Oilers come out and dominate. So I'm looking for some more depth here. Vancouver will be all over Connor McDavid in this one. I do think Corey Perry gets some more play time here at home. He's only averaged right around that 10 minutes per game in the first 2 games. Corey Perry is due as well. They brought him in because he's a playmaker here in the playoffs. And I think Corey Perry for the anytime goal holds value at plus 500. Now, Zadorov here for the Vancouver Canucks has been phenomenal. Offensive defenseman. Now, you got to shop your lines here to see if you can get him for the anytime goal because I've seen him held off a couple. But he's had a goal in the first 2 games. He's plus a 950 on FanDuel for that anytime goal, and he's going to be impactful in this one. Otherwise, I'm looking at the Oilers team total. I think Vancouver can stay competitive, but no matter what happens in this one, I'm expecting Edmonton on their home ice to go over 3.5 goals at minus 118. Now, the Calgary Flames fan in me wants Vancouver to just come in and steamroll them here. But even if they steamroll them, Edmonton's still getting those goals on the board, Kevin.
Yeah, Edmonton just has so much juice, we know, offensively. It's also, at least in game 2, it was very tied to McDavid, so his props always look interesting. But it then allows the Draisaitl ones to kind of fly under the radar, right? And I know that's why, people try and always bring him into the mix, and he is typically able to pay the people when you look at those numbers. We are going to come up against the break here, but Joe's going to stick with us. We got to get over to this Major League Baseball board. We got a strikeout prop in the mix here. No Nerfies possibly, though? I mean, is this even Joe Matt? This can't be right here. I'm gonna have to refresh this. This can't be possible, folks. We'll break it down with you next, Major League Baseball style, as we are live on SportsGrid. Game time decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on this Sunday morning.
missed call the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back right here, it's game time decisions. I swear sometimes the breaks are better than the show, and I really love the show. We do great things, but the breaks are the breaks, and that's where they stay. Joe, let's talk some Nerfies here. Oh, there is a Nerfie. See, I can't read. That's not true. I can read, I was rushing. Joe, let's start with the Nerfy because the people do love them. What do you like here as we get set on today's baseball board?
I'm looking at the Nerfy between the D-backs and the Orioles in this one. I love the pitching matchup, and I think both of these starting pitchers can come out nice and strong. We got Zach Gallen coming out here for the Diamondbacks. 4-2 on the season with a 2.84 ERA, and Dean Kramer coming out here for the Orioles. I'm expecting a low-scoring game in this one, and I think it's a nice short price here for the Orioles here at home as well at -124. But the Orioles have been so hot, 8-2 in their last 10 games. We look at the Diamondbacks. This team has been struggling. I'm just having that faith in Gallen to start this game, to come out nice and strong. So give me the Nerfy at -136. And I would sprinkle on the Orioles as well for the win.
All right, little Orioles action there. The Twins, Joe, up against the Toronto Blue Jays and Alek Manoah. Any faith in Alek Manoah?
No faith in him. We saw him get lit up by the Nationals last weekend, Kevin, and we did the run line on the Nationals and it cashed, and I almost want to do the extended run line here on the Twins, but I think the safest way is to go the Twins team total over 4.5 at -108. This team bit me yesterday. They got up nice and strong in those first 5 innings versus the Blue Jays, and we know the Blue Jays came back and won that at the end. But I do think here the Twins are the stronger team, especially against Alek Manoah getting the start. I just can't trust him out there for the Blue Jays, and I'm going to keep fading him each and every single game until he proves to me that he deserves to be back up here in the majors.
I'm giving him a chance on that money line at +120. So maybe the bullpen and a late offensive burst can get the job done. Anything from the Tigers matchup with the Houston Astros today?
Yeah, I think Flaherty can have a strong day and get those strikeouts on the board. His strikeout numbers coming in at 5.5 at -116. We look at Jack Flaherty and his amount of strikeouts, 56 strikeouts so far on the season in just over 42 innings pitched. In his last couple of games, 6 versus the Cleveland Guardians. He did have 14 versus the St. Louis Cardinals. And I do think this is another one where that number is just too low. I know the Houston Astros aren't a huge strikeout team, but Flaherty for just 6 in this one, it seems too good. And then I'm looking at the Tigers. I think their ability to hit Justin Verlander and especially the bullpen here of the Houston Astros once Verlander goes off, their team total's only at 3.5. That's coming in at -115. I love it because you look at Verlander off his last start, he gave up 8 hits and 7 runs in his last start. So I can't trust him out there. I do think the Tigers will be able to take advantage of him if he comes out and stumbles to start this game, Kevin.
And then, Joe, a real sizzle here to close out the baseball card. What looks like, I mean, I'm not saying it's a new market overall, but I believe the first time we're going to discuss a little action in Phillies Marlins.
Yeah, I was so excited to see this, Kevin, and this will be the first time I've ever bet it as well. I was looking at the Nerfy numbers, and right below that, I saw the strikeouts in the first inning. 3+ strikeouts in the first inning coming in at +164 between the Phillies and the Marlins here, and I think it has every opportunity of hitting. We know the Phillies are sending out the hot arm of Zach Wheeler, and I do think he could get the 3 strikeouts himself in that first inning. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Garrett came out for the Marlins and was able to get one of those strikeouts as well. So I think this is a nice, easy one. I'm counting on 4 strikeouts in that first inning, and the plus money, Kevin, is so nice at +164. The Nerfy in this one, I do think is in play as well. That's coming in at -130.
All right, so Nerfy certainly for the people there, but a little plus money with the early strikeouts. I saw yesterday the DK was introducing will there be a walk in the first inning prop? I don't know if that's available in every game and every day, but I think it's nice to see that they continue to add more and more options for us to get involved with Major League Baseball and really any of these sports. Joe, appreciate it. As always, best of luck with the baseball and the hockey.
Best of luck to everyone out there, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching. Thanks, you guys.
And happy Mother's Day to you, Joe Madden, of course. Up next, we'll talk to Dave Sharapan after Skenes Day. Can you believe it? The kid, 7 Ks. What will the strikeout prop be for Game 2? I genuinely think there's excitement around that. And I can't believe there's excitement around a Pirates game 5 days from now. That's the power of Paul Skenes, and that's next.